was strictly run by our department.
And do you recall why that decision was made?
My understanding is there wasn't a terrorism link.
I'm sure throughout your career you've done lots of interrogations. Are there usually multiple officers that do the interrogation, or usually just one?
It can depend on the circumstance. It's not always more than one, but it can be.
And what would you estimate would be the normal procedure for interrogation as far as law enforcement wise?
I really can't speak to that. I think every department probably has their own potential way of doing things.
Hello, Gary. Yeah, I'm glad to be back, honestly. How are you? Thank you for tuning by. I don't know, I didn't really know if anyone was gonna show up today. But hello, Melissa. Hello, Bama. Hello, Tequila. Yeah, I wasn't even sure at some point, at points where if I knew if I was gonna come back. Because, and I can tell you guys, I mean, um, I guess the easiest way to explain it is that I kind of lost the. I wasn't enjoying things. I think that's the best way to put it. Like I got to a point where I just wasn't feeling happy, and like I said, and I think it was due to the overwhelming quantity, I guess, of work that I had. Even today, even yesterday. Yesterday I had to drive 600 kilometers for work. So that was my whole day. I just got home and I crashed to my bed and I slept. That was my day. And I guess there was too many of those in a row. Hello, Danny. Hello, Anna. And I guess that's the best way that I can explain it. This is the first time in a while that I sat in this chair in front of the computer because I was just like getting straight from work to home to bed and then getting up from bed and going back to work. Those were my days. And I didn't really wanted to give you guys videos that I didn't put my heart into it, you know? I I just didn't want to put them out just because I could. I don't think that was fair to you guys. So I'm doing things. I'm trying things to work it out. Like I started making breakfast for myself in the morning, and that's one of the things that I enjoy. I enjoy cooking, and I don't do it that often, but I should because I think it's relaxing. Just taking a recipe, buying the ingredients, and then making it and tasting it. That's one of the things that I enjoy in life. Um, I'm doing. Later today. I'm gonna go and buy and get some clothes because I. It was one of the things that I notice about myself that when I'm feeling down, I stop caring about me, and most of my clothes were already worn out, like really, really worn out. And I didn't realize that. I just put them on, and I was like, whatever, it's clothing. I guess. But that's one of the things that I feel like it reflects a lot of the way that I'm feeling. But yeah, hello. How are you guys? Have been. I mean, I haven't checked on any of you guys in a while. So, what have you guys been up to? Is there something new in the trial verse? Because I haven't even watched any of that. Any new interesting trials to check out? Thank you, Melissa. Hello, Karen. I'm live. I'm live now.
Up until that point in your career, when you interrogated the detainee, had you ever conducted an interrogation with
Paula.
FBI present?
I think this is one of my favorite parts of the trial, where he's just trying to get Detective Carpenter to admit that he lied to him in the interrogation. And they can do that. Oh, 2 for Shanda van der I don't know how to say that name. Let's check it out. I want to see what else is new. I want to see Shanda van der. Hello, Michelle. Oh God. Oh, Rory's here. Come in, Rory. People want to see you. People want to see that you're here. Come here. She's hanging out in her bed. Most difficult case ever. Lost parental rights. Hello, Teresa. Shanda and her son.
Murder. Count 2, first-degree child abuse. We find her.
Oh, whoa, wait. This is already the verdict. So it's over. Let's see.
Coming soon.
Videos. Not that one. Not that one. Do they have playlist? I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Hello, Pipske. Hey, I like IHOP. IHOP is good. I like the pancakes with the blueberry sauce syrup. Hello, harsh times. I was going through some harsh times. That's why I wasn't. That's the reason why I wasn't.
On the docket tonight, folks, she's going to be the new public enemy #1 here on your front row seat to justice based upon the allegations. Obviously, they have to prove them beyond a reasonable doubt. This is Shanda van der Ark, 43 years old, lived in Michigan with her 3 sons, was working as a law clerk until her arrest, now charged with the horrific murder of her special needs son.
Wow.
Judge Ashley has the details for you tonight.
Norton Shores, Michigan police respond to an emergency call at 4788 Marshall Road. There they find 15-year-old Timothy Ferguson dead inside the home.
If you do this job long enough, you're going to see a lot of things that are very disturbing, are disgusting.
According to police, Timothy had special needs. He was severely malnourished.
Hello, Mel. Good to see you too. I missed you, all of you guys. It's great to come back and see all those familiar names and going back at it. It's truly incredible that you guys are still here, and I cannot thank you guys enough.
And there was evidence of abuse.
It's clear that this wasn't the first time that our victim, this 15-year-old, had suffered the hands of neglect and abuse.
Timothy Ferguson's mother, Shanda van der Ark, and his older brother, Paul, were arrested. Investigators described how they say Timothy's family members brutalized him.
As punishment, our 15-year-old was subject to ice baths, was subject to not being fed food other than bread or bread soaked in hot sauce.
A neighbor spoke off camera with local station WXMI about the family.
It seemed like she was just, she's really to herself a lot.
According to the neighbor, Vander Ark and her family had lived in Norton Shores for a couple of years.
She doesn't come out much. Kids don't
Hello, Christine.
come out often at all.
Investigators say Vander Ark moved to Michigan from Oklahoma, where she had been investigated by child welfare authorities.
Instead of having her parental rights terminated, she voluntarily left the house, and from what we can tell, that's where the case kind of ended.
2 weeks after her arrest, Shanda Vander Ark was in a Muskegon County courtroom facing homicide and child abuse charges. And in an unexpected twist, it turns out she was no stranger to the courtroom.
I know that the defendant was working as a law clerk for the Waco Circuit Court. My understanding is right up to the point that she was arrested.
Vander Ark pleaded not guilty and is being held without bond. At her hearing, her attorney hinted at a possible defense.
There is a potential with lack of memory in this case to the allegations.
Timothy's brother...
Lack of memory? I'm sorry, but there's so many, so few cases where you can allege lack of memory. Like, no, you would remember that. How do you forget something like that? It's just this is the Darrell Brooks saying he can't taste. You cannot prove that, and I think that's a lie.
Paul is also charged with child abuse and is expected to testify against their mother.
Wow.
All right, folks, this trial begins on Tuesday. Paul Ferguson, who is the older brother of the victim, the other son of Shanda Vander Ark, has a status hearing on January 23rd, but he's expected to be a key witness against his mother. There are text messages that really give you the flavor for what the allegations are here, and these are between Shanda and her son, not the son who's dead, but his older brother, who's also been charged here. Take a look. Vander Ark, this is Shanda, says, feel free to dump some cold water on him. I honestly don't care if you get a little rough with him. Do you honestly believe we should be worried? And then Ferguson replies, I don't know. I'm just tired of him being such a nuisance.
Like, I get it. I don't have kids. I mean, the whole thought of having kids, it scares me to death. And hello, Tonya. Yeah, everything is okay now. I'm still here. Thank you for asking. Thank you for being here. I get that having a special needs child is extra difficult. And not a lot of people can handle it, because I work in a place where a lot of kids, where you had a lot of different type of kids. Like, you have special needs, and you have to treat them differently. Yes, that's my whole extent of experience with special needs, because I worked around them, and it's difficult. They don't always listen. They don't always get stuff, but there's a difference between, like, not understanding that and treating them like you think that they should, because we gave classes. Like, the place where I worked at gave classes on how to deal with stuff like that. And that's the thing that I don't think she did. Like, you need to put the extra effort to that. I am tired. like I said, you weren't here yesterday, but I drove 600 kilometers yesterday. Like, just yesterday. 5 hours in the morning, 5 hours in the afternoon. I'm still recovering from that.
Vander Ark, the mother to Ferguson, maybe force his mouth open and put some hot sauce in there, considering everything he's put us through.
Not cool.
In another text, Vander Ark asked Paul Ferguson to pour hot sauce on Timothy's genitals as a form of punishment, but he did decline to do that.
Thank God.
Unreal. Like I said, public enemy. Let's bring back in our think tank, Al Wunsch, Darnell Crossland, and Jennifer Brandt. Darnell, it looks like the older brother will be the key witness here.
All right, let's keep going.
At some point, there were some cell phones seized from the residence. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Including a cell phone belonging to Ms. Vander Ark.
That is correct.
And did you have an opportunity? Did as part of the investigation, did the Norton Shores Police Department perform an extraction of that cell phone?
Yes.
And it seems obvious, but what is the purpose of extracting information from that cell phone?
Often cell phones can contain evidence of the crime that we're investigating.
Your Honor, for this next portion, we've discussed already that Lieutenant Hooksma and Detective Alm will be reading a portion of the text messages. So I think we're prepared to do that at this point in time. This will be, for the record, this is going to be previously stipulated to being admitted as People's Exhibit number 36, and this is an excerpt of those text messages. And you had an opportunity to review those text messages, is that correct?
I have.
Hello, Rory.
And these text messages come directly from the extraction of the cell phone that was performed on Shonda Vander Ark's cell phone, is that correct?
I know.
Correct.
I know.
And you've had an opportunity to review these, and did these depict different moments in time from February to July of 2022? A conversation, or conversations, I should say, between Shonda Vander Ark and Paul Ferguson.
That is correct.
Hello.
So we only need one more chair up there, actually, is what we're going to need.
Mr. Roberts, so Detective Hooksma is going to be playing the part of the defendant, I believe you said, or is it?
No, actually, Detective Alm will be reading the defendant's portion, and Lieutenant Hooksma will be reading Paul Ferguson's.
Paul Ferguson, okay,
portion.
all right. All right, we just need a chair. An extra one.
Yeah, hopefully the role is still in there, and he doesn't have any chance to get out ever.
I think. So just so the jury understands, usually a witness can read both parts. It can get a little confusing, obviously, because it's the same voice. So the parties have stipulated essentially that Detective Hooksma will be reading the text messages of Paul Ferguson, and Detective Alm, who is coming up as we now, is reading the...
She doesn't even look that old. How old is she? She's like in her 40s, maybe? Hello, Jonana. Jonana. Hello.
Part of the defendant. Mr. I think we probably should swear her in, so Detective...
Ms. Gilmore just pointed that out, Judge.
Yeah.
That's probably a good idea for this portion.
All right, Detective Alm, in the matter now pending, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, put your hand down, grab a seat. Please state your name for the
Hello,
record,
Becky.
spelling your first name and last name.
My first name is Stephanie, Stephanie.
I don't know where to put myself.
Last is
I'm gonna put this down here.
Alm.
All right, you may proceed, Mr. Roberts.
Your Honor, can we get the lights on?
There you go.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Does that help? Does that get it right there? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, for the record, these are...
Is it often that they have two people on the stand? I don't think I ever seen that before, where two people were testifying. Am I thinking she worked in a law firm? She worked as a clerk. She worked as a law clerk.
You'll be reading verbatim the text messages between Shonda Vander Ark and Paul Ferguson, and we've also taken some lengths to make sure that you're identifying the dates and approximate times where these text messages are being sent.
They're gonna read a conversation. That's why they need two people, so the officer is just not reading, like she said, he said, she said, he said. So they're just gonna have the text message conversation between them. I get it.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
And if we move to a different day, there's an indication there so the jury understands what days we're talking about, correct?
That's correct.
All right. I believe you could begin.
First, rude, and second, why are his hands free?
Hello, Jenny.
And what did he get into that he felt he needed to brush his teeth to hide it?
Sorry, I don't know he was up.
What do you mean you didn't know he was up? Has he not been...
I don't think we've got a date
of
this particular section, so if we just,
Thank you.
before we get into it, the date.
The date is 2/18/2022.
Thank you.
First, rude, and second, why are his hands free? And what did he get into that he felt he needed to brush his teeth to hide it?
Sorry, I didn't know he was up.
What do you mean you didn't know he was up? Has he not been upstairs against the wall?
No.
What? Why the heck not?
I just didn't.
What the heck has he been doing?
According to him, he's just been setting. I don't know, though. I didn't know he was awake.
Find out what he has snuck right the heck now, because I know he has snuck stuff since you weren't doing what you were supposed to. What do you mean you didn't know he was awake? You both should have been awake at 10:30. I am not happy. You know he was
Awake at 10:30? Why? Does these kids don't go to school? Like, I get... Where is the middle brother?
just sitting there. Check the brownies in the kitchen. Check everything not locked away. Check where the flipping keys have been.
I already checked everything.
Break moving on to a different date, correct?
Correct, that concludes that section. The next date is February the 28th.
And check his breath. I can almost guarantee he's eaten something. He was chewing on something when he walked downstairs. You and I will be talking about this on a later date when we're both home.
Yes, he grabbed chips, I know.
The break there?
Well, I guess the reason why he keeps trying to get food is because you guys don't feed him. Give him food and he's not gonna be sneaking around eating other stuff. Why are you such evil persons? Like, this just started and I'm already heated up.
Yes, the next text thread starts on March the 4th at 8:59 p.m. KK.
May I approach?
That's her? So is she crying?
About 5, maybe 10.
Like, she's crying right now, trying to, like, remembering the situation, but like how horrible. I think she's crying because she noticed that how bad this looks against her. So
Minutes. So I'll have you retired to the jury room. Please rise.
no, it's okay, Tonya. I think you're just a little behind. You should refresh the stream and you will be back to up to speed. Alright, so what are we doing?
Defendant in this case, who is accused of torturing her son, he ended up dying, is now suffering from distress, a panic attack, according to the judge. And
yeah, because she's realizing that everyone is seeing the horrible stuff that she was thinking. So I'm sure she's just realizing that, oh, this is not gonna go well for me.
And so they're going to take 5 minutes to see if the defendant can compose herself. This.
All right, let's move on.
Thank you, Your Honor. My next witness is already in the witness chair.
Oh
and that
God,
Paul
this is her
Ferguson.
son.
All right, Mr. Ferguson, can you please rise and raise your right hand as best you can?
All right, you guys want me to make videos of this, or you just want me to watch it as like that? So I can do either, but I like to go into these videos without knowing. So if I do it now, I'm probably not gonna make videos about it, but it's up to you guys. I mean, I'm cool to watch it right now. But I'm not gonna pay enough attention right now. Like in the past video, I was just kind of watching it, kind of talking with you guys. So I don't know. Because this seems interesting. This interrogation, this examination looks like it's gonna be spicy, you know. And I can make videos of it. Like I have I don't have that many videos on Darrell Brooks. I just need to finish it, and I'm gonna try to do it like right after I'm finished with this stream. I'm gonna record I think it's gonna be the last video in the trilogy in the saga. I still have to do some of the beginning that I skipped, but then I need to focus on something else. And this looks interesting. This looks like I would like to know why go about it that way. Like, what was the reason why her mom and the brother hated this kid? Why they thought that he was misbehaving? He's not gonna behave the way that you expect him to, because he's different, and that's okay. He just needs different care.
In this matter now pending, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, you put your hand down, grab a seat. Please state your name for the record, spelling your first name and last name.
Paul Ferguson, Paulfergu.
Hello, Julie. Hello, Tiff. Good morning or good afternoon for you. Good night. It's 9:42 p.m. for you.
USON. Mr. Ferguson, you are testifying here today, and is it your understanding that you do have an agreement with the Muskegon County Prosecutor's Office in exchange for your testimony today against your mother, the defendant in this case, Shonda Vanderhart? Yes, sir. And
I like that they drive home that you know that you are betraying your mother right now. Like, I like that.
Is it your understanding that as part of that agreement, the people have agreed that none of your testimony today would be used against you should you exercise your right to have a trial in the pending criminal matter against you? Yes, sir. And is it also your understanding that in exchange for your testimony today, you understand that the prosecutor's office will make representations to the judge that oversees your case if such time is reached that you are sentenced in that matter, and that you hope to get some sentencing benefit as a result of your testimony today? Yes, sir. And is that in exchange for your truthful testimony today? Yes, sir. Are you aware of any other promises in regards to your testimony today? No, sir. And and for clarity's sake, you are also charged in this matter involving the death of your brother. Is that correct? Yes, sir. And what charges is brought against you at this point? Child abuse, first degree. And what do you understand the potential maximum?
Like my job didn't work. It has seasons, you know. In the later part of the year is more calm, and in the earlier part of the year is more frenetic, something like that. I have more work at the beginning of the year, so that started to get me.
Penalty for, well, you know what? Strike that. I won't ask that question. And you are prepared to testify today, is that correct? Yes, sir. And you understand that your attorney that represents you in your pending criminal matter is present in the courtroom. That's Mr. Eldon Brady. And if at any time you need to ask him any questions or take a break, you just let us know, okay? Yes, sir. All right. Okay, Mr. Ferguson, I'd like to start by just talking a little bit about your home in Norton Shores at the time that your brother passed away. And so you understand, and I'll try to make sure that I ask these questions very carefully because you haven't been present for this entire trial. You have a younger brother. We are not using your younger brother's name today, okay? So we're just going to use the initial G when we talk about your younger brother. So try to remember as best you can that if I ask a question that somehow involves your younger...
This is what I like. I like the comments that you guys are making. Like there's like 2 people right now or 3 that say that they felt sorry for him at the beginning and not anymore. That's one of the things that I want to see is like why that change in perspective to him, because like I get that he was following his mother's orders, but at the same time he's 20. He can just say no.
Younger brother, but we're not going to say his name, okay? Can you do that? Yes, sir. All right. We'll try to ask those questions very carefully so that we don't get into that issue. But besides your younger brother, G, and yourself, at the time that your brother Timothy Ferguson passed away, who was living at the house in Norton Shores? Besides you and your younger brother, who else was living in the house?
My mother and sorry, my little brother, though he was at my grandparents at the time, my step-grandparents.
Wait, I missed that. Hello, Michelle. One.
Your brother Timothy Ferguson passed away. Who was living at the house in Norton Shores? Besides you and your younger brother, who else was living in the house?
My mother and sorry, my little brother, though he was at my grandparents at the time, my step-grandparents.
And obviously your younger brother, if you can put it that way, but your youngest brother is the one that we're not identifying by name. He was living in the house at the time that your next youngest brother, Timothy Ferguson, passed away, correct?
Yes, sir.
And your mother was also living in that house as well?
Yes.
And is she in the courtroom right now?
Yes, sir.
As best you can you kind of point her out or maybe say what she's wearing right now?
Her hair is in 2 braids. She's got, I think that's a black sweatshirt.
I think that's sufficient for the record to reflect the witnesses identified the defendant, Your Honor.
Yeah, the record reflect that.
Yeah, the 2 braids kind of give her up. Who in the? I don't want to. I'm not gonna go there. I'm saying this because to me, if I were the jury, right? If I were one of the jurors right now, she's guilty. I don't need to hear anything else. Just practically with just the text messages, like she's guilty in my book. I'm sending her as long as I can to jail. I kind of don't need to hear anymore.
Now let's back up just a little bit from the time your brother Timothy actually passed away. When did Timothy come to live with you and your mother in that house?
May 27th of 2001.
2001. Was it maybe 2021?
21.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Objection, leading the witness.
So in May of 2021, Timothy came to live with you, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And at the time when Timothy came to live with you, besides yourself and G, was there somebody else that was living in the house during that time period?
Other than my mother and half-brother, my stepfather, Adam.
Okay. And your stepfather, Adam, was he married to your mother at that time?
Yes.
And is he actually the father of your younger brother, G?
No.
But your mother is the mother to you and to Timothy and to G, is that right?
What?
She's your mother, she's Timothy's mother, she's G's mother, is a better way to put it.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Okay. And at some point in time, did something happen to Adam where he wasn't living in the home anymore?
He suffered a stroke in January.
Did he leave the house at that point?
Yes.
When he left the house at that point, then is that then when it became just you, your 2 brothers, and your mother living in the home?
Yes, sir.
And when Adam suffered the stroke, was he physically able to do anything to provide any care to either you or to Timothy or to G?
No.
Hello, Ann Jacobs. Okay, so far, the 3 kids in the house, the mother and the stepdad. But then stepdad had a stroke, and now he has like that condition now.
And where did Adam go when he left the house after the stroke?
After the hospital, he went to live with my step-grandparents, my in-laws, in their house in West Olive.
When did the stroke happen?
January.
And from the time the stroke happened, was he ever back in the home in any way?
No.
And the folks that he went to live with were his parents, is that right?
Yes.
And they live in West Olive, down in Ottawa County?
Yeah.
So those would be like your step-grandparents?
Yes.
And they'd be Timothy's step-grandparents as well, is that right?
Yes.
Now, in addition to your younger brothers that we've talked about, do you have any older siblings as well?
Yes.
Wow.
Who are your older siblings?
My biological brother Nolan, stepsister Chelsea, stepbrother Chris. There's, I don't know exactly how to put it, step brother and sister, Kenzie and Xavier, I suppose would be the terminology.
But biologically speaking, you have an older brother, Nolan, is that
Yes.
correct? And Nolan is how much older than you?
2 years.
2 years older than you.
Yes.
And was there ever a time where he lived with you at the house in Norton Shores?
No.
So she has 4 kids. And the oldest one is 22. At what age did she have these kids? Like 18, 20? That's young.
Nolan live?
North Carolina.
So Timothy came to live with you, and prior to Timothy coming to live with you, was it just you and G and your mom and stepdad in the house at that time?
Yes.
So you went from 4 people in the house to 5 people in the house in May of 2021.
Yes.
And then back down to 4 people when Adam unfortunately had his stroke in January of 2022.
Yes.
Now, around shortly after the time of the stroke, did there come a point in time where you became involved in having to administer some discipline to your younger brother, to Timothy?
Yes.
We'll talk about some specifics, but we've already had some text messages read, and you've had an opportunity to kind of hear about some of those text messages throughout this, right?
Yes, sir.
And you sent text messages back and forth between yourself and your mother. And we have those text messages from January through the time of your brother's death in July of 2022. Is that your understanding?
Yes, sir.
At some point in time in February, there's a discussion fairly early in those text messages about blocking Timothy's access to food. Can you describe what was happening at that time?
Yeah,
and how
why?
he was restricted from getting access to food?
He was sneaking food that was not necessary at that time, and it was solved by placing locks on the fridge, freezer, and pantry.
What do you mean that was not necessary? Like he was eating like chips? Like if he was eating chips before breakfast? Like something like that? I don't get how can you say not necessary? If he was hungry, it was necessary. Maybe it was not the food that he needed to eat.
When we say he was sneaking food that wasn't necessary, who would make that determination that it wasn't necessary?
Shonda.
And what type of food are we talking about that he would sneak that wasn't necessary?
Sweets or anything he could really get his hands on.
So as early as February, there was restriction. The locks were going on the freezer and the refrigerator, and you said there was also some type of lock on the pantry. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And we've heard a text exchange, but at some point a little bit later, as things are progressing into April, was there a time where Timothy was doing something to get the locks off of the pantry door?
He was pulling them off by hand.
And what were you instructed to do as a result of him pulling the pantry door locks off?
What? Okay, this is getting... Wow. Okay, I get it. They had to lock the food, the sweets, and the chips and sodas, I guess, behind a lock. Get a better lock? I don't know too many people. I'm sure that I cannot open, like pull a lock up and like get one out from the dollar store and it's gonna be fine.
Let me ask you this way: were you given some instruction to replace that lock?
Yes.
And who gave you that instruction?
Shonda.
And what was your understanding of why you were locking the pantry back up?
Because he was sneaking food.
Let's talk about your brother Timothy for just a little bit. Did Timothy have some special needs?
Yes.
What was your understanding of what his special needs were?
He was attention deficit hyperactive disorder, as well as autistic. he had speech and motor impairments.
Speech and what type of impairments?
Motor impairments, movement impairments.
Movement impairments?
Yes.
And at the time that he came to live with you, was he supposed to be taking some medication?
Yes.
And did he stop taking his medication?
Yes.
What?
Why did he stop taking his medication?
Could you please reiterate?
Yeah.
Why do you? What did he? So that's why he was doing all of this stuff. He needed his meds.
I guess a better way of saying it is, who made the decision for him to stop taking his medication?
Shonda.
What?
As far as you know, from the time that Timothy came to live with you in May of 2021 in Norton Shores to the time of his death, did you ever see Timothy go to a doctor?
No.
Did Timothy go to school?
Not public, no.
How was he schooled?
Home.
No.
When we say homeschool, what would...
No. So, she took away his medicine. She didn't bring him to an efficient education. And then she complained that he was not behaving. What? She was negligent. I don't know. Right now, I don't know the circumstances in which the event happened, but she was negligent right now. Like they can just lock her up for that.
That entail?
At first, it was assignments on a tablet, and then my mother restricted it to where she would print out the assignments, and he would sit downstairs and do them.
So he never went to school and never went to a doctor, as far as you could see?
Yes, sir.
Basically, from January, from the time of the stroke moving forward, was Timothy allowed to even leave the house?
No.
When, if ever, was he ever allowed to go outside?
To walk the dogs sometimes.
And when he would walk the dogs, where was it that he would walk the dogs?
In the backyard, out of sight.
Was there ever some physical discipline that was involved with him being outside as well?
Yes.
What was that discipline?
He was made to run up and down the patio stairs.
Why?
And those are stairs in the back of your house?
Yes, sir.
Are those visible at all from the front of the house?
No, sir.
Visible to anyone walking by on the street or driving by, anything of that nature?
No, sir.
There are some text messages referenced in there.
So she was hiding this kid, and this was his biological son. I don't know if Adam was the father, but she needed to take care of him, and she was like, I don't get how the only time where he could get away, get some sun, was sometimes walking the dog in the backyard.
There where there's a discussion about doing the stairs, chasing.
Yeah,
stuff.
Kerry, and he didn't even have his meds. Like he was feeling so. I cannot imagine and like they say hyperactive, deficit attention. Like you need to be able to control that stuff.
What is that, if you remember?
Following close behind him to ensure he moves faster.
And who would be the one that would chase him if that was taking place?
I had to.
So it was a double punishment because she made this guy also run up and down the stairs.
What was, besides, you've talked about some of the special needs that Timothy had when he came to live with you. What was his overall physical appearance, though, when he first came to live with you?
He wasn't skinny, but he wasn't extremely overweight. He had a good amount of chubbiness to him.
So he was a little chubby?
Yes.
Obviously, as we all know, and now the jury's already seen some of the photographs, that went away at some point in time. When did the food restriction on Timothy start, with the locks going on the refrigerator and the freezer and the pantry and things of that nature? When did that actually begin?
Sometime in February.
There's been some testimony about Timothy.
She took the stand? Why? How is that good? How is putting her in the stand and asking her why were you starving your child? How is that gonna give you some sympathy with the jury? That's dumb. They never should have let her take the stand. That's almost like I cannot remember a case where the person took the stand and won. Jesus.
Going on a hunger strike around the time of Adam's stroke. To your knowledge, did Timothy ever go on a hunger strike when Adam had his stroke?
No, sir.
There's also a reference to him going on another hunger strike about 2 weeks before he passed away. Excuse me, did that happen?
No, sir.
So she was saying that he was getting skinny because he was doing a hunger strike because of her father?
The police have indicated that at the time they searched her residence, there were a number of cameras seized, as well as some other items. So let's talk about the cameras first. What was the purpose of the cameras being inside the residence?
To watch Timothy.
And who would be watching Timothy on those cameras?
My mother, or when she couldn't, she had me do so.
And how is it that you would, kind of explain for the jury if you can, how is it that you watched the cameras so you could watch what Timothy was doing?
I would log into the app on my phone, and it would alert me if there was a motion movement.
So you had you had your phone and you had some type of app on there that was connected to those cameras?
Several, yes.
And you said that you were also alerted to movement. Were there motion sensors in the home?
The cameras do that.
And the cameras also had that.
Yeah, the cameras do that. But Jesus, if you have enough money to put your house in like a closed circuit, like you can put CCTV on your house. You have money to bring this kid to a special school where they're gonna take care of him. Like, I don't get how this is better. If you take the time to understand how to, like, be a parent to this kid, you will have a better time than just force all that stuff with the locks and all the stuff with the cameras. You don't need that. You just need to be a parent and understand that this is not like the other 3 kids that you had. Those were easy mode, which I'm just gonna say easy mode because I'm sure having just one child is just a daunting task. But this one is different, and you need to adapt to that. You don't need to force him to adapt to you because that's never gonna work. Oh, this is 42 minutes and I'm just 14 minutes in. Jesus. I'm gonna go a little bit more, but I'm gonna do videos more in depth about it.
As well, they activated on motion.
And what was the restriction on Timothy's movement that would cause those cameras to go off? Where was he limited to?
Could you please reiterate?
Yeah. Where could Timothy go, basically?
Mainly he was restricted to the downstairs area.
Wait, if she wasn't supposed to have custody of him, why was he with her? Who let him in? Who let him stay there? Who was supposed to be taking care of him? Oh, this is going so deep. Why was she? Why? Who was supposed to take care of this guy? Because they obviously didn't as well.
A closet downstairs.
Oh, so he was only supposed to be in a closet.
The downstairs area actually contained 2 bedrooms. One was yours and one was G's bedroom. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And there was also a bunk bed that was out in that area that I believe that the defendant indicated was Timothy's bunk bed. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Where did he actually sleep most nights?
In the closet.
What did you call the closet? Was there a name you used to refer to the closet?
The small room.
And what was in the small room if Timothy was in the small room?
There was a camera monitoring him, even when he slept.
Was there an alarm on the door?
How big was this room? Like I imagine, like in my mind right now, I'm thinking Harry Potter. Like he was living under the stairs, so he had like a square meter to live with. How big was this closet? Because I'm just going off. I'm sorry. This is just wrong.
As well?
Yes, sir.
Some type of motion sensor or alarm?
Motion, vibration, yes.
So we had that on the door and then a camera actually inside the room as well, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And were there times where you were required to watch that camera?
Yes, sir.
And to your knowledge, were there times when your mother was watching that camera?
Oh, it was
as
a
well?
metal
Yes, sir.
closet? Like it wasn't even part of the house. It was like a cage? What?
Was there a restriction on how much Timothy could move while he was inside that closet?
Could you please reiterate, sir?
Were there any restrictions on his movement inside the closet, or was it he could move around however he wanted inside the closet?
There were restrictions.
What were the restrictions on his movement?
Oh.
Hands on his head, normally.
Hands on his head, is that what you indicated?
Yes.
Was that some form of discipline for him?
Yes. On his knees and against the corner or wall of the room.
They were doing the Blair Witch treatment to him. Like the only thing that he could do all day was just sit in the corner and stare into the wall. My God!
You say hands on head. I'm going to demonstrate. Just putting my hands just over my head like this. Is that what he was required to do?
Yes.
He was required to be on his knees as well. Say yes.
Yes, sir.
You have to say yes or no because this is
I
being
apologize.
recorded. You're fine. No, that's fine. Everybody makes that mistake. It's not a problem. And was he monitored to make sure that he was doing those things?
Yes, sir.
And for
How
how
long?
long would he have
Yeah.
to do these things?
Several hours.
Hours.
And that was inside his closet, for lack of a better way of putting it. What you referred to as the small room, correct?
Yes, sir.
Is there a way that I can get the plans to this house, like the I don't know how to say it, the blueprints of this house? I would like to know how evil are these persons, because my closet is right here, and my closet is, I don't know, maybe a meter square, like that's like 10 foot square at most.
Were there also times when he was required to stand against the wall?
Yes, sir.
And would that be in the closet, or would that be in other places in the house?
At times it would be upstairs by the back door or on the wall between me and G's room.
And when he would stand against the wall, how long were we talking about that he would be required to do that?
Hours, sometimes overnight.
Overnight?
At some point, did you utilize some type of alarm or alarms on his body to alert you if he was moving?
A vibration detector, yes.
Was there more than one that he was required to wear at a time?
This was literally your brother, her son, and they had him more like, they had more security than a jail. Like, not even jail people have those kind of restrictions. If you want to be moving around in your cell at night, you can do that. This is worse than being in prison.
At times, yes.
Where were those devices located on his body?
They were normally tied to the back loop of his belt, or the back loop of his pants, I apologize.
And was there something placed on his wrist as well at any point?
Handcuffs.
Oh my God. No. No, I'm pretty sure I'm scaring my neighbors right now. But I just cannot deal with that. They put monitors, cameras, handcuffs, like put him in his knees against the wall for hours and nights. Who does that? Hello, Miss Santana. Good to see you. It's incredible. it's unbelievable that someone would go through that. Look at his face. Like, you see how the shadow in his eyes is looking right now? This guy is evil. I don't care what happens to this guy tomorrow. But they should have never. Nah, just not.
And before that, zip ties, zip cuffs.
Zip ties?
When you say zip cuffs, are those put together with zip ties?
Yes.
What?
And those were designed to restrict what?
Movement.
Of what part of his body?
His hands.
I think there's a text exchange that the jury's heard a couple of times where it's referencing him tightening those zip cuffs on his wrist. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
And so what was happening that caused you to send that text message and had that exchange with your mother about those zip cuffs?
He was complaining about them being too tight.
So they were too tight, and they will go, okay, we're gonna tighten them up more. Wow.
What was your mother's response when he was complaining about those being too tight?
To leave them and she'd deal with it after she got home.
So the jury has some clarity in terms of a schedule here. You and your mother worked basically different shifts, for lack of a better way of putting it. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
What was your job at that time?
I worked as a dishwasher at Applebee's.
And was that, which Applebee's?
The one in Grand Haven right off.
Of course he was an Applebee's employee. That explains the evil in him. I couldn't say that. I don't have anything against Applebee's. I like their burgers, but that's it.
The bridge.
What was your normal shift that you would work?
4 to close.
What at that time was your mother working as well?
Could you reiterate?
Did your mother have a job as well?
Yes.
Where was your mother working?
As a court scribe, I believe you would call it.
Yes, Rory's here.
Okay. And where
In her
physically
bed.
was that job?
Did I remember of? Did she say here at this courthouse?
So there was a time she worked at the Muskegon County Courthouse?
Yes.
Do you remember a time when she worked in a northern county at a courthouse as well?
I believe so, yes.
Objection, leading.
And what was her normal hours that she would work?
6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Wow.
So would it be fair to say that you two are not together in the house very often?
Yes.
So whose responsibility was it to keep an eye on Timothy if she was not in the house?
Yeah, I take better care of Rory, like by 1,000%. That what they did to their blood, like the son and it was her son, it was his brother.
And vice versa, like if you were not in the home, who would take the responsibility of watching Timothy at that point in time?
She would.
At the small room that you've described, at some point in time there was a tarp placed in there, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And what was the reason there was a tarp placed in that room?
Due to Timothy's bladder problems, Shonda didn't want him urinating on the floor.
Would that be something that he would do?
Yes.
Did he wear some type of adult diaper?
Adult diaper, yes.
And
I mean, that's fair. An adult diaper, if he has a bladder problem, I think that's fair.
let me ask it this way. If Timothy had to go to the bathroom, how would he go to the bathroom?
He would have to ask and he would be timed.
Timed?
And who would do the timing?
Whichever one of us was there.
So we'd ask, Mace has to ask permission to go to the bathroom?
Yes, sir.
And what time was he allowed to go to the bathroom?
They did have dogs. But why would you time him? What?
For urinating, it was a minute.
You can say the word, it's okay.
taking a poop, it was 2 minutes.
2 minutes is not enough. I'm sorry, but for experience, I can tell you that it takes a little bit more than that sometimes.
And who set those time limits?
Shonda.
Is she crying now? Nope. She's not crying now. She's betrayed.
We've seen a lot of text
No, this is his older brother. He was 20 at the time.
messages and references to hot sauce and hot sauce retrieved from the home. At some point in time, were you asked to start feeding him bread with hot sauce on it?
Yes.
And who asked you to do that?
Shonda.
Why were you giving him bread with hot sauce on it?
Because he was supposedly misbehaving.
And how would you, describe to the jury what you would do to do that and to make him eat the bread with hot sauce?
I would put it on bread, have him stand in the kitchen area near the back door and watch him eat until he finished.
And was he required to eat it until it was all gone?
Yes, sir.
Did it ever look like he wanted to eat the bread with hot sauce?
No.
No.
Were there times where you were told that he could have something besides bread with hot sauce on it if he ate the bread with hot sauce first?
Regular bread, yes.
So he had to eat that bread with hot sauce first, and then he could have some regular bread.
So the price for eating the bread with hot sauce was just more bread.
Yes.
Did he have to wait a period of time before he could eat the regular bread, though?
Yes, sir.
What, do you remember about what that was? About how long?
30 minutes.
With taking
Like, you might as well put those braids up and made it be like her horns, because that's what I'm seeing right now. Like, that face, that intense stare into her son. He's like, I will get you too as well. Like I hope they get to eat some hot sauce in jail. That's like all right. I'm gonna stop it here because I want to make videos about this. So you're probably gonna see this again later this week, because like I said, I'm gonna try to finish Darrell Brooks today or tomorrow, and then start doing this one, because this is just where was this? Where was this? What state does these people come from? I'll give you the link, Atif. There you go. Michigan. What is wrong with Michigan? Can someone tell me? What is wrong with Michigan? Like, we know that Darrell Brooks was from Michigan as well. What is, you guys gotta take care of yourself, man. I don't know if any one of you guys are from Michigan, but you guys need to straighten that up. No. No, he said that he was born in Detroit, Michigan. Then he moved to Wisconsin. But he was born in Michigan. I remember that, I think. He was said that he was born and raised in Wisconsin, even though he was born in Detroit. So don't believe his lies, Mel. All right. So I just wanted to check in with you guys on this stream. Just tell you where I was. I have a lot of stuff to do on my day off. So I'm just gonna leave it here. I'm gonna come back tomorrow for another stream. and you guys can we can keep talking about this or pretty much whatever you guys want. But I'll be back tomorrow, same time around 9 a.m. Pacific. I'm glad to be back. Hopefully I can continue go back to making videos again like I used to, at least once every 2 days. But yeah, thank you guys for stopping by. I'm so glad to see you guys again. See you on the next video. Hey Allegra, I was just leaving, but you can watch the video and see where was I. But yeah, see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Cuídense.